Welcome to the Smart Sales Solutions podcast, where we learn to implement intelligent solutions in a complicated marketplace. With your host, Rich Rudnick.
Welcome to the Smart Sales Solutions podcast. Today, I'm picking up where I left off from navigating your clients and business in turbulent times. Today's subject is getting ready for increase. I'm your host, Rich Rudnick, and joining me are some of my clients who will share and give their thoughts as well. But first, this short video.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight. One game. If we played them 10 times, they might win 9. But not this game. Not tonight. Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we stay with them. And we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world. You were born to be hockey players. Every one of you. And you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great hockey team the Soviets have. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
This is your time. This is your opportunity. This is your market. This is your chance to go out and show what you're made of. This market is going to define all of us. You get to define how you will end up through in this market. Folks, I don't have to tell you, but there's a train coming and it's going to leave many behind. And what I'm talking about is not what has already come. What I'm talking about is what is on its way. And I'm going to suggest to you, in fact, some of you probably feel like you've been run over by a train. The next train that's coming, and we will be seeing shortly, is the rebound train. I firmly believe it. And my job today is to help you prepare and be ready for that. Thanks so much for joining me today. I want to take our early moments to preface and get ourselves teed up for the conversation we're going to have. And many of you have heard me say this over the years, but I will tell you that you are either growing your business or going out of business. And unfortunately, in the time period that we are in and the scenario we find ourselves, there are businesses that won't come back. There are businesses, even if stimulus money is coming, that won't arrive on time. I don't want that to be you. At every junction, we have to look at ourselves as whether we're growing business or going out. And this, folks, is your time to advance. We always need to be moving business forward. And I like to say we're doing one of two things, and this is an extreme now. But either we're soaring like an eagle, or we're flopping around the ground like a turkey, or in other words, circling the drain. And what I want to make sure for all of you is that you're soaring and not circling the drain. What do I mean by that? Well, I think you get the gist, right? That what can be happening is we're so focused on the problems and our circumstances around. And it's not like some of them aren't real, but that we have to get ourselves in the position of getting the opportunities that are in front of us. If any of you are dealing with any stinking thinking, we need to get rid of it right now. And I have to say that this is an easy mindset to get into if we're not careful. So let's make sure that anything that may be keeping you down or getting you down is being processed through. Okay, and I want to be here to help all of you. And I think most of you on this call have that. By the way, you are all leaders. And the same message I'm bringing to you, you need to bring to your team. Remember, in our last meeting, we discussed the same thing, that we tend to be looked upon by others for guidance in the future. And people are looking more and more at us. We're 4 weeks into this shutdown. Let's make sure we're not so focused on the problems that we miss the opportunities around us. Most of you know this, but it's important to put this in place, and we'll be using this to talk about today. Here's something that I've been saying, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring us all together, because I am in this unique position of dealing with so many of you across the country in different markets. And folks, I see this day in and day out. And I summarize it this way: the will of the people and the entrepreneur will lead us back. And all of you are entrepreneurs, every one of you. And your clients are the will of the people. Man, I'm seeing it. And I even have some stats and charts and data that I want to share. In fact, you have in your inbox the charts of those agents who provided for me. And some show amazing resilience, and some are showing a downturn, which we should expect in this time. But the will of the people and the entrepreneur will bring us back. I'm firmly confident of that, and that is you. You are going to help us in the comeback. Real estate is 20% of the US economy. It's huge. And I'm going to spend a fair amount of time today looking at real estate charts and data because it affects all of us. And I want to hear from our non-real estate clients as well on how you're being impacted. But I think it's important for us to see this, and it confirms my statement here. The will of the people. The will of the people is to move forward, and we're seeing that. I saw some sobering statistics because we have to deal with the reality that we're faced with. The daily cost of the shutdown that we're experiencing, and when I say big states, I mean big economic producing states. California, New York. I think Illinois is probably in there too, Pat. I think you're one of the big states, but it's about $10 to $12 billion per day. That's a staggering number. Think about that in the shutdown. Little states, it is about $5 billion per day. And that's an average. Some states a little higher, a little lower. That's an average. That's tremendous. And with that, yet we're still seeing the will of the people coming through, and I want to share that. We're also seeing an adjustment in the market and the economy with mortgage apps, which were through the roof. And I don't know if any of my mortgage clients are on the call, but I'd like you to weigh in later. But last week I heard they were down 17%, and today is April 13th. So as of today, that's what it was the last recording, and things are so fluid, right? Things change constantly. That's a big drop. I see that as an opportunity, and I'll share that in just a moment. But we are seeing adjustments and drops. We're also seeing resilience and growth and gain. It's incredible, and we should all be encouraged by that. Folks, I was mentioning before, and we all know this, we are going to see casualties. Some restaurants, businesses, agents won't come back, right? Some won't make it. And that's what happens in a capitalistic economy, no matter what we do. That doesn't mean all won't. Most will. If some don't, most will. And most will have opportunities to tap into. Most of you, if you've been with me for a while, you've heard this saying, it's not what the market is doing, it's what you are doing that matters in the market. And that's what is important right now for all of you, is to be taking ground. Think of a recession, negative GDP growth. They say we're in one. I would say we probably are, but that it's still an average and a statistic. That doesn't mean everyone is. It just means you need to be above the average line. We always want to be above the average line. Again, what you do matters, and it all comes down to discipline, folks, and we talked about that last time too. Here's something that I've been noticing, folks, and we really have to be careful on. And we all can dream a little bit, and I'm not saying that maybe looking for some diversity is maybe not a bad idea, but in general, it's important for all of you to stay focused on what you're doing, what you do best, and not be thinking of what is that other best option. As we all know, there are no get-rich-quick schemes, and there's nothing worth pursuing that takes time and discipline. So let's stay where you're at. In fact, I want you to go out and beat the Soviets. I also want you all to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and I think this is really important. We're all probably feeling uncomfortable in a number of different ways. Let's get used to that, and let's get ready to tap into areas that you can grow. And I'll be sharing further here some other statistics and comments and so forth along that. Many of you have heard me say, and this is a balance here, we're either in selectivity and abundance or scarcity and desperation. And I think it's really important that we are the former rather than the later. And even if you're feeling scarce and desperate, it's really important that you act selective and abundance, because when you act selective and abundance, you'll become selective and abundance. So that's really important for all of us. And I think most of you that have been with me and in coaching for quite a while, this is not new to any of you, but it's really important for us to take a look at this as we get ready for our time here today. So here's some comments I want to make from my client load. Almost all of my real estate clients have pipeline and activity. It's amazing, almost to a fault. They're busy, even though they're having challenges and they're seeing shutdowns, and it's not easy. When I start getting into the pipeline counts, everyone, to almost a fault, have listings and pending and buyers and people wanting to buy. And folks, that's the will of the people. The will of the people is to move forward, and we should all be encouraged by that. In fact, getting ready, when I lift the mute function, I'm going to want to hear little success stories from all of you across the country on this very case, that we see activity happening, and it's slowing and it's tightening, and I understand that too. But the amount of activity that's going on is tremendous. And I have some stats that will actually blow you away. And there's some market stats too that I'll show up that show a decline. So we're seeing a little of both. My LO clients, you have not had a chance to breathe for months. First, it was the refi boom, and then this, people climbing on. Why? Because interest rates are so low and then spiking up. It's been extremely volatile. Now they're tightening restrictions, and now you finally can breathe. And I'm going to say, as you regroup and get ready for the next wave, it's going to be key to try to reconnect with your RE partners, because the buyers are coming out, and we have challenges and problems ramping back up, and I want to share that with you. So financial planners, man, what a roller coaster they've been on. So the stock market lost 34% since the drop began, and last week it was up 17 in 1 week, up 17%. Now, this week, we'll see where that all goes. And obviously, oil is also been given a break on a deal with OPEC and Russia and Saudi Arabia. And their deal is not to overproduce. So oil will go back up. They're expecting a rebound in oil. That's new today as of this morning. Now, the stock market is going to be all over the place. Folks, we should be encouraged by this. Just in the last week, insurance, it varies what level you are in insurance and what's happening. It all depends on the agent. It depends if the agent is gaining territory right now and working on growing business, or if the agent is hunker down mode. There's territory to be gained, and there's challenges to work through. Being proactive is really key. Vacation rental. These folks are hammered. And I don't know if my client, any of my vacation rental clients are on, or Alex, if you're on, I'd love to hear from you. These are warriors, frontline folks, and resilient, and will come back, I believe, harder than ever. But this is an industry that has been literally shut down. And here's our goal, everybody. When this thing ramps back up, book your vacation rental and get out and let's go take those vacations. I believe a lot of people are going to want to do that, but where we can, let's serve and honor those folks, and let's get everybody back on track. Food delivery is not without its challenge. I don't know if Aloha's on today, but restaurants being shut down is usually half of the business, and finding creative ways to get food out like all entrepreneurs do and create new revenue lines at the end will make us all better as we go through. Marketing, I want to hear from Rob Brown if you're on the call later. So Rob, be ready for some thoughts. I know you were signed up for today. It's interesting during this time. Folks, this is the time to advance business. This is the time for us to get ourselves positioned and utilize marketing where we are weak and reinvest in yourself. And so we can talk about good ways to do that. And then, of course, our good friends, Old Trapper, I know a couple were signed for the call, so I want to hear from you. You're kind of in the opposite swing. You're also moving from a high swing in business, and that might adjust back. So we want to definitely hear from you. Also want to hear from my Canadian clients. I know some made that call, so I want to hear from you as well. Very similar situations, I believe, there. Folks, there's a lot of reasons for us to be encouraged. First of all, spring always follows winter. And that applies after challenges and problems. I talked at our last meeting that we're either coming out of problems or going into one. After winter always follows spring. We're in a winter from a standpoint of economics and with this virus. And I think we should be looking forward like we are looking forward to spring and the warmer weather. I know that snow has to melt in Colorado and Minnesota, and hopefully that'll happen soon. But I think in general, and by the way, these links that you see up are in the attachments that of this outline that is in your inbox. And so you can check into this. But I think most of you have been hearing, I think the good news and why we're in this predicament is, to begin with, is the COVID-19 virus. And what we're seeing is a general trend of new cases slowing. We're also seeing that forecast, which was ominous just a week ago or 10 days ago, being drastically lowered with new, better models. And that is very good news for a number of reasons. And then in the epicenter, where half, between New York and New Jersey, half of all the deaths reported in the country are, they're seeing the lowest new rates of death since they were starting to record this. Again, we're not totally out of the woods, but we should look at that as the news. That's what's fueling this. I mentioned the stock market rebounding, and also with oil and what's happening there. I believe we will see good things happening out of that, and that's just a comfort for all of us. And I think because they're rebounding so fast, the stock market, that is an indicator that they believe that the economic damage will be less likely than maybe some people are forecasting. Now, that can all change, but I think we want to find the good reports in all of this. Client pipeline, as I mentioned before, I am going to bring those charts up at the end and share some of those. By the way, almost all of those made it into your inbox. Jeff, yours came late. I'm going to try to pull it up and I can share with others as well. You've got an adjustment, Jeff West. I took a quick look, so we do want to talk about that. Let's talk about the money that's coming. Now, we can debate on whether how much or all of this stimulus money is a good thing or not. The reality is it's coming. Some of this is definitely needed for sure. I'm not here to talk about the long-term ramifications, but the short-term looks real good on the street. So that money is coming. That will only help in a number of ways. Also, there is talk from a number of states, including at the federal level, of opening up the economies in certain states. And I think as that starts, that will start to ripple effect as well. We all know that suppression creates pent-up demand in just about any scenario you talk at. And that is there. And so it's got to go somewhere. So I believe it's coming, and it's coming soon. We want to make sure that we're ready for this. Now, experts have a mixed bag of predictions. I've got some links here. You can look into them. I'm not going to bring them up. If you're not looking for good news, don't read this one. But most are saying, hey, this thing could really come back on. And it all depends, but I believe that it will too. I've been mentioning a train is coming. The train is the rebound. And it's important that you're ready. Too many will be flat-footed. And if we're not ready, what will happen is that train will leave the station and too many people will be left on the platform. And I don't want that being you. I want you to apply what I'm talking about next so that you are prepared and you are ready for that. Let's talk about the key disciplines. Remember, there's no magic pill. And those of you who've been with me know this drill, but I think all of us need to relook and see where we need to be going on this. So let's take a look, and hopefully you're hearing me okay in the sound. I think everybody's online right now trying to do these events. First of all, the key business disciplines you need to lock in right now. Planning and goal setting. Remember, if you're in coaching, you've got your goals and plans. We need to review, recommit, and readjust. This is not the time to readjust down. You have time. Don't give up on the year yet. Let's readjust. If you don't have your plan and goals in place, this is the time right now to get in there and get those set. And remember, in our goal planning, we need to get down to the daily goals. Time blocking, more than ever. This is your opportunity like no other to lock in the life balance issues that we talked about 3 weeks ago. We talked about in our sessions, to make sure that you're balanced, you're taking care of yourself so that you're able to go and win. Because when this comes back out, that train is going to come, and you need to be ready and preserve the balance that you have put in place. It's not a one-off. Prospecting, as we know, is that non-negotiable hill to die on. We need to be increasing contacts, talking to more people. Remember, I mentioned in the last meeting that not everyone has the stomach for this right now, and we cannot bog ourselves down with unmotivated, unqualified leads. So we need to talk to more people, to say no to more people, which puts you in abundance and selectivity. Even if you're feeling desperate, doing this puts you to abundance sooner. It's important that we do that. Again, we're presenting to fewer but more motivated prospects. This is a great opportunity for us to just lock in all the disciplines that we should be doing all the time. That kind of goes out the window when it's ducks on a pond, when we have so much income and we can't handle it. And that may return sooner than we think. The sales process. You see my steps up there. It needs to be in place. For those of you who have it and build it, but we sometimes get off of it, tighten it up. For those of you who don't have it, we don't have a lot of time, but start putting it in place. It's really important. I don't want this to be a frenzied approach you take, but I want you to have urgency about where we're at, what's coming, and all of the adjustments that need to put in place. Some of you have this all down in place. Some of you, this is just a reminder. Some of you need to start from here. Well, we start it. Well, how do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. We take it one step at a time. If you're in one-on-one coaching, I'll help you through that. If you're not, talk with me and I'll help you get there. Man, folks, I can't tell you how much of a hole this is for even some of my best clients that have even been with me for a long time. I see this as a major opportunity to put in place and a major miss and a problem if we don't get on this. And maybe if you have to pick your battles and you need to work on all of those, maybe you start with this one, because most people are not utilizing their CRM like they need to. I'm having way too many conversations about getting the leads, getting dependent on the CRM, utilizing that, putting all the follow-up plans that we've discussed in all of our training sessions and so forth in ones you have. So take this opportunity. You may have to set what your priority is. Look at here and say, okay, what am I doing well? Where do I need to zero in? And do the best you can. Do your top 3 and move it from there. But let's make sure that we're keeping these key items in mind. It's so critical right now that we put this in place. I see challenges coming ahead in what we are facing, and it's, I believe, real. And one of them I look at is capacity for everybody. So let me talk real estate. Real estate inventory, and I'm going to show you on stats across the country, is low. Now, I just saw Jeff West, Ruidoso, New Mexico inventory, and I saw how your expireds have exploded. I've been saying, like a broken record, you need to get on expireds, you need to get on expireds, you need to get on expired listings. Well, they've arrived in Ruidoso, and the people who are on it and are working it will have a leverage, because we do need inventories. We need 8-step listings, but we need them. So I'm going to suggest for real estate, we need listings now. And what I'm going to suggest for realtor clients on here is that you put a contest for you and your team right now. By 4:30, get a contest, a goal, a contest, reverse countdown, whatever you can put in place for you and your team to bring listings to market and make that your mission. Here's the questions you should ask yourself, realtors, every morning. How many listing appointments can I set today? How many listings can I take this week? I'll try to get that up there. How many listing appointments can I set today? How many listings can I take this week? Every day, ask yourself this question. Put this up and work it. Without question, this is non-negotiable. The people who own the listings will win. Most markets are starved for listings. This is an opportunity to let listings come to market and give some bandwidth for the buyers to come in. I've been saying that this has been a needed thing. I wasn't expecting this. No one was, and nor do we really want it this way. But it is presenting that, and I believe that's an opportunity we want to take up. I believe for LOs, for lending, they're barely making fulfillment right now. I think that's an issue. They're going with stricter guidelines. And I think lenders are wanting to be careful and they're going to have to balance this, right? They want to bring only the best of the best. I think that's a double-edged sword. I think some of that's good. No one's going to get into the reckless policies of 12 years ago that got us in trouble. And tightening too much can really shut down the growth. So there's a balance there. But that is your job to talk to more people as realtors and lenders to work with better people. I mean, that's the goal. Talk to more people, work with better people. That's a good thing in general. They're just trying to minimize risk in that regard. Boy, small business, my small business clients, this is going to be a challenge. Now, some who've been totally shut down and to ramp up, it's almost impossible to do, or those who have cut way back are understaffed or closed down. Ramping back up is not just, hey, come to work today. This is a major problem that I see, and I think we will see this as consumers when we go out into the market as well. We're seeing it in stores. We see low inventory and supplies. That's a problem. Think about some of these business owners on cash flow and finances, whether that stimulus money comes or not. I just saw an email from my CPA on the PPP, the payroll protection plan, 2 to 5 weeks before money starts hitting the streets. So some people don't have 2 weeks, and those who just do barely, and then all the folks come, that's a challenge. There are no easy answers here. So obviously we want to be supporting all of our small businesses as much as we can and be very understanding. I think you'll all be that way also. Think about this. So right now, there are the quote essential businesses, which, by the way, I believe everyone is an essential business. Just saying, just giving my 2 cents worth there. But for implementing safety policies and social distancing, so the businesses that are up that are quote essential are practicing all this, and if they can do it, the others can, right? So that's the logic behind. Well, if they can do it, the rest of us can. However, there's extra money involved with that and time in getting that ramped up, which is going to affect everyone. And so that's just to name a few. And if you have a few others that you've noticed, let's maybe we can chat about that. But that's plenty right there. And I think for you now, the question is, how can you, understanding what fits in your category, what are the challenges you're going to be facing, how can you get ready and reap the rebound without being overwhelmed? Because these are all legitimate issues and concerns. So let's go back on this, a couple key points. And I want to start opening up. So in about 5 minutes or so, I'm going to open it up to you. Well, maybe a little bit longer, it might be 10. So I want you to be ready for commenting and so forth. Obviously, you've got some time here. Get your business plan dialed in. Recommit to it. Let's not give up on it yet. Identify those key disciplines I mentioned up top. Maybe at least start with your top 3. Make it a manageable number, or your top 1 if that's all you can do. But that, from what I had talked about above, let's put that in place. Anything that you don't need right now, let's tighten. Let's cut expenses. I think most of you are doing that, and that's the right thing. By the way, I believe we're all going to come out of this better, stronger, leaner. There's a lot of good that's coming out of this and will come out of this. Hopefully you'll be coming out of this in better shape, better physically as well. Let's put your finance plans in place with and without the protection plan if you're applying for that. Some people aren't going to get it. Let's just be realistic. It's a major undertaking. Their heart's in the right place, and hopefully this comes together. But let's try to do without. I had to spend a fair amount of time with a client who has, 7 employees on the payroll, trying to navigate what's the plan to pay the 15th and what's the plan to pay the 30th. It's that tight. He's saying if he doesn't get PPP, he's out, but we did find some receivables that he needs to reel in that he has a chance that might save that. So we're going to be fighters and scrappy players here and outskate the opponent. We're going to go beat the Soviets, right? Using the hockey analogy only. Create your ramp up plan. So let's be proactive. So everything that we're coming, what do you have to get and put in place? What's the inventory issue you have? What's the capacity issue you have? What's the employee shortage issue you have? How are you going to work through that? Plan it and work it. Obviously, all of one-on-one clients, we get to work through that. Non-one-on-one, we can talk about how we can help you with that. It's just block and tackle business. Here's something, and folks, be listening to the Motivational Monday quotes coming up, because each week gives a little tip on any of this, so be listening to those as well. But identify the opportunities you can tap into now. And folks, this big one here, the impossible that could give you the greatest lift. This is an opportunity to find where maybe you have some time, or maybe it's getting tougher and you want to or need to take a bigger risk. Be calculated with it. But sometimes we always avoid that impossible. This is the time to really look at that and see what could be that game changer. And then, as finishing up what we talked about in our last meeting, I want you all to be replacing fear with faith. Those of you in one-on-one, you're all doing a great job, and I want you to share your stories. By the way, you all encourage me in our one-on-one meetings. Dead serious. It's so exciting for me to hear what's going on and what you're doing, and that's why I have us all together, and I want you to share. But this is the time where we need to win the battle of the mind, and where we need to get rid of any stinking thinking that might be taking us down, and be very reticent about what we need to do to move forward. And then, folks, get ready for increase. I want you to resolve to succeed. Resolve in your mind, and that is so much of success. I can't tell you enough. Just put it in your mindset. You're going to succeed. You're going to get through this. You're going to win not only the day, you're going to win the year. You're going to win your goals and come out on top. And let's get ready for increase. So I'm going to show some of these stats, and I want you to be thinking and ready, clients, to share your thoughts. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unmute the phone. So here, everybody, we got 32 on the call. I want you to get ready here. I'm going to unmute. So we'll see how we're doing here. And I have Aloha Produce on, which is awesome. So I do want to hear from Aloha. I have Alex on, so I'm going to hear from Alex, just letting you know. I want to hear from you folks. I want to see, let's see if Rob's on. Jenny, so we have, and Jerry, so we have Old Trapper on. That's awesome. Kathy, I want to hear from you, from your unique model. And I'm just going to look through here. Everyone else I want to hear from as well. Gosh, I got Paul on. That's great. If Rob's on the call, that would be awesome too. So everybody mute your phone, please. We'll see how we're doing. Got a few people on. Let's see. Aloha.
Yes.
I'm going to have you on there. That's, is that Nick?
Yep, that's me.
Awesome. I want you to give us an Aloha update, and I want then for Old Trapper to come on. So give us a rundown on the last week or so. Just, I shared your story about quick update, a rundown.
Yeah, quick update. So obviously our main clientele is restaurants and schools. Both were completely shut down here in the state of Oregon. Across other areas as well. Since then, we started up a new company, Ben Food. So anyways, we have now a curbside drive-up option for the food world, which helps people who don't want to go grocery store shopping and get that. So that really was our saving grace to keep our lights on. Since that initiative of putting that together, within a couple days of a whole new business, we're already tracking that this entity of our company is going to be $1 million add-on to our business, just as that one entity of it. Since that point of moving forward, we have that now organized and managed properly, and my role is changed in the fact that now I'm out hunting and getting more and more accounts. And two huge successes that have happened in my world is Les Schwab Corporate purchased a $35,000 order from me, and all I did is write up the paperwork and ship it to one location, and they distributed it out through their entire company of some product. So that was a huge win with great margin. Of that, we found that her niche at this produce stand happens to be strawberries, and just this today specifically, they have purchased another $16,000 worth of product, which is at a gross profit of over 40% margin, which is very great dollars put into our account. So not only did we able to survive, the shock of everything that happened here, we put our heads together, we worked ridiculous hours, got it put together, got that started, and now we're going out and finding. One of the things, Rich, that you said that I wrote down is attitude. Attitude truly is everything in this whole process. Obviously, we were shocked. We went from potentially thinking, oh my gosh, do we have to close our doors? Or are we going to, be blue collar about this and just hammer down? And that's what we've done and move forward. So attitude, in my opinion, is everything in all this. And even during all the dark and hardness, there's light at the end of this tunnel, and we'll figure it out.
Listen, you guys are my heroes, and I've told you that before, and I'm so glad you made the call today. You guys are rock stars, and this is how everyone on this call needs to take on the Loa Produce attitude on this. This looked dire. I remember on that Monday, what was it, the 16th of March or whenever, it was like death day. And 1 month later, you've created a new revenue stream that could generate $1 million per year just by getting creative. And you had to slim down and ramp up. Thanks so much for sharing and being here on here today. Alex, I see that you're on. Alex Duncan, are you still with us to weigh in on vacation rentals? There you go.
Sorry,
How are
technological challenge. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Everyone needs to book a vacation with you. So go ahead and tell us where they should go do that.
So in New Mexico, initially they shut us down till April 10th. And last Monday they came on and said that we needed to shut down until the 30th. So I have not stopped my regular advertising. Top of mind awareness is huge, especially in vacation rentals. So I've kept all of my social media marketing going.
Good.
Kind of changed the tune of it.
Yep.
But kept that up, and I'm still marketing on all of the OTAs like Airbnb, HomeAway, those ones. I'm just marked out until the 30th. So we're patiently waiting for things to pick back up, and hopefully people will start to book for summer and yeah.
Well, listen, you're my hero too, Alex, right? So, and you've done all the right things. You're just taking care of business, getting everything in a tough time set to where you're at. I mean, I just can't imagine being shut down that hard, that tight. And you will get through this, and there's a rebound coming. And what's your website?
MountainAirCabins.com.
Okay, folks, let's go Reduso Cabins, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Mountain Air Cabins, is that correct?
Yes, that's it.
And then on food delivery, benfood.org.
That's
For
correct.
for that part, right?
That is correct.
Okay. That's from Aloha, so you can go to Aloha Produce. That's just the regular consumer, if you're in Central Oregon, you can come right and get there. Awesome. Thank both of you. Rob, if you're on, I didn't see, but Rob Brown, if you're on, like to hear from you on the marketing side. Alex is all in still. She's not shutting down. She's got the mindset of moving forward, and she's going to reap that. Old Trappers, let's hear from somebody on the Old Trapper side. What are you still seeing from your side of the aisle? Who wants to speak?
This is Paul.
Hey, Paul.
How's everybody? Yeah.
Hey, doing great.
Yeah. So we've seen the last week slow down significantly in all channels. You know, grocery is probably still the strongest out of all, but C-stores fell on its face. We've heard that mass has really declined. We've seen, at Walmart, Target, both of those folks, their orders have gone below last year. So we're starting to see it. Order book is about 20% of what it was all-time high 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of uncertainties on if we're going to have a second group of people that are coming in shopping and filling the cupboards again, pantry loading we call it.
Yeah.
So no, we're starting to think that this thing needs to open up. We need to get out. People need to get able to start traveling the country a little bit and get out of their houses. So 2 more weeks, if we're going to be doing that, it's going to be a big hit. So
That's right. We do need to get back to work. It's time for everybody, and we're all ready. American people are ready, and businesses are ready. We need to just go back to work. That's a great place to go. Kathy McDonald, any thoughts? You're on the interesting side of lending. So I don't know if you want to speak on that other side, but if any quick comments on HECM mortgage lending, any comments you want to make?
Hi, Rich. Hi, everybody. Yes, we find ourselves in an interesting time as well with the lending side of it with regard to folks who are in retirement. And I just was, I had to leave this webinar for just a few minutes because I had a client calling in that what they're doing is they're paying off their existing loan, and then with the balance, they're establishing a line of credit so that they can use those funds in the future in the event that they should need it or draw from them if we should be in a bear market. As well as I had some clients had called me. We put a line of credit in place for them last year, and they were very thankful that they have their line of credit available this year so they can let their portfolio recover.
Yeah. So there's a lot of uncertainty, especially with that group, right? There's a lot of, just from the health side, right? And when you're nearing retirement, you see a volatile stock market and everything. It can really be unnerving, but you're a great person to calm them, right? To be that calm in the storm. Are you seeing tighter restrictions? What are you seeing on your side of lending?
Not yet. The loan is the loan on this end. There's minimal qualifying on this one, and so it's not, we don't have the restrictions that I have seen anything yet so far.
Yep. Good. That's good news. Well, stay strong, right? And there'll be opportunities. I do believe that more seniors, as I've mentioned about those who are the ones who own the inventory, will be looking to make more moves. I think that could be expedited. Your services are going to be needed, I think, more than ever. Okay, so real estate, I want to hear from you. I want to bring up some of these charts, and by the way, you should have them in your inbox, but interesting in going through this. So this is Seattle. So interesting when you take a look at this. On March 19th, there were 300, this is the greater Seattle area, 319 new listings, 296 pending. Now, the COVID had started well into, I think, late February, because I remember flying back into Seattle in February, and the first death was reported because Seattle was the first place. Now, you would think, and it's in a tight lockdown, I have a lot of clients in the Seattle area. Look at, this is last Monday. Of course, listings are way down, but look at pending. 126. That's right, folks. When I'm talking with my clients everywhere, they're transacting. The ones that are deciding to go into the bunker, they're not transacting, but the agents that are engaged in working prospects and clients, they are transacting. This is South Carolina. Lawrence, which is near Greenville. New listings, 476. This is as of April 8th. Look at the pending, 857. They are on fire, and that makes me feel good. I'm actually closing on a investment property there, so that makes me feel good. But that part of the country really has not shut down either. They actually have more deaths than Oregon and Minnesota, and they're shut down to where they used to be, but not like a lot of our states, and they're just taking care of business. They're going. So my clients in Tennessee, definitely seeing an adjustment on, pretty much everything's been the same, but new listings actually had dropped a bit. You can look into some of these. You might have to get into look a little further. I'm not going to hit each one, but Reggie, if you're on the call, I'm not sure if you made the call. I'd like to hear from you on there. Now I got to move this here. So when I go to the Coachella Valley around Palm Springs area, here's one thing that was interesting. Pendings did drop in your market. You're definitely seeing an adjustment there. Some markets are seeing a bigger drop than others. And I don't think it's as dependent on the COVID cases. It's interesting. Now, here's an interesting stat, and I've got another one coming. So one client in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is Washington, D.C., look at this. Pending sales. This is March 10th. So 130, then it goes down to 97, then it goes down to 75, and then down to 39. They are seeing a big drop. But I have another stat, which is interesting from that same area that I'm going to bring up that Michelle brought. So I don't know, Michelle, if you're on, but we'll see that. In the Twin Cities, change in inventory is just dropping. There is no inventory basically in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and listings are needed. So there's a drop of 5%. It's not a crater. In all that's going on, I see a lot of activity in the Twin Cities. I just see less and less inventory. It looks like that the inventory is not keeping up with the pending. So it's even tighter. Even though there's a drop, it's not a hemorrhage in the Twin City area. It's just very interesting what we have going on. And that, I guess, is the last one I have up. So I want to just hear from some realtors. There's a few others that didn't make this sheet that you'll have in your inbox. Oh, I guess I have this one. This one is also in the Montgomery County area. I believe it's in the Washington, D.C. area. And Michelle, if you're on the call, you can maybe clear this up for me. 89 new listings, 93 pending. We have people who want to buy and people who want to sell. For everyone. Even if you're not in real estate, this should be encouraging. This should be an indicator, just like the stock market, that if we can get back soon enough, there's enough business out to get. So I want to hear from you folks. So realtors, why don't you just share your name and let's hit a quick success that you're seeing from a pipeline standpoint that you want to share. Anyone?
Rich Rudnick, this is Stephen Powell with Fathom Realty.
Stephen.
Thank you for having me on.
Hey,
Great
Stephen.
presentation.
Thanks so much for joining.
I want to give a couple perspectives to the group. Number one, regardless of what's happening in the world, the only thing certain is uncertainty. This isn't anything new. It's just a new face to something that always goes on. And I will tell you that a cure to uncertainty is to insert yourself in the situation with a why not me? Well, why not? Sales are happening. You see that. He showed you that there's listings, there's pendings, there's stuff going on. And the only way that you're not going to be involved with it is if you take yourself out of that. To put yourself in it is just a simple question. Why not me? Why not myself have some sales? Why not myself have some listings? And to do that. And I will add though, this is a season not to decrease, but to increase. So if you have marketing, spend it, but spend it smart. And when I say smart, spend it smart, it's this. Who is your audience? Who are you talking to? And what is your message? What is your call to action? And what value are you bringing? And on that, I'll leave this final thought. When you open an exchange, regardless of what it is, resist the temptation to look at that thing that you're doing, expecting it to spit something back out at you, because it's going to come from someplace else that you didn't expect it to come from, and from another source. So don't turn the spigot off of that marketing that you're doing, because you've created that exchange. I see, just from my vantage where I'm at, that I want to remind everybody, this is not a recession. This is not a depression. This is a pent up manipulation, and it is pent up, and it is going to spring and rebound. So have your stamina built up, be ready, because it is going to be a situation. It's not 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It's going to be 0 to 150 miles an hour in 2 seconds.
Well,
So,
I don't think there's a bigger picture than this, Stephen.
right.
This thing is coming. It's coming hard and fast, and too many people will be left on the platform. I just don't want anyone on this call, any of our clients. And man, you said so many great things, Stephen. We could dissect a whole hour just on all the great nuggets you shared, and I want to thank you for that. To do that, and obviously I put your market sets up there if you wanted to go. It's not what the market's doing, it's what you're doing in the market. And we miss 100% of the shots we never take. So let's be out there and engage. And I want you all to be advancing and gaining and growing territory. And this worked in the depths of the last recession and downturn, and I really believe this will come back up. Anyone else? Thank you so much, Stephen. Anybody?
Hey, Rich, it's Joshua.
Hey, Joshua.
Hey. Yeah, I think, I've only been coaching with you for a few weeks, but just in that short period of time, you've helped me refocus. And instead of just kind of getting out there and just calling on random people in my SOI, I've been refocusing my efforts specifically on out-of-state investors to come in and buy multifamily in Albuquerque. Yeah. Along with that, setting up a property management company to kill two birds with one stone. We got the transactional revenue and a new stream of revenue with the management piece. And I'm picking up new clients. And since we talked an hour ago, I did write a contract in between the two calls.
Good.
And I've got 2 appointments set for this afternoon with
cut that out, Joshua. Quit that.
So it's a whole new. It's like you talked about in the call earlier, was the targeted marketing, very specific targeted marketing. And I don't think I've ever been so laser point focused on what I'm doing right now with the networking groups and things like that. And there's a whole new world opening up as people are shifting their money out of the stock market back into real estate.
That's right.
So it's been a great opportunity, and I just see great success ahead.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know if Adam made the call, a client in South Carolina, but that was what I transferred, and people will be doing that as well. So Michelle, I see you up there. Michelle, I need to hear from you. So you probably need to hit unmute your button, and you got a lot to say, and that was your stat that I'll have to bring that back up. So you're a big player in your market. This one here. I can't hear you. Let me try to unmute you. Now you try to unmute yourself here. Let's see. Now, okay, try now. Shoot, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Michelle. I think it's on your side because you're unmuted. Oh, doggone it. I want to hear from you. Okay, keep working on it. Keep working on it, Michelle. I'm going to come back to you though, okay? But I want to hear, Michelle is a big player in her market, and she's probably, here's my prediction, Michelle, you're probably not going to like me say this, but you're probably responsible for most of those pending. I'm just going to say that, right? Poor thing, I shouldn't have done that. She can't read. I don't think talking louder is going to help in that case, unfortunately. Who else has a comment? Jeff West, because I couldn't get your stat up, but did you see my email comment? I took a quick look. Are you on?
Yeah, I'm on here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I could try to get to yours maybe here, but you've had a change.
Yeah, actually, I sent you a year to date statistic, and I had meant to send one from March 19th for your request, and then one from April 7th, but I didn't get the right ones over.
Okay.
Our market's down overall. As far as active listings are down, pendings are down, new listings are down, and our sold listings are down. I think a lot of that's a result of momentum we built in the first part of the year, last quarter of 2019, on a market that's been heating up. Our lower price point market is going fast. Of course, with coronavirus hitting us like it has, buyers have definitely slowed down. We didn't lose any transactions due to coronavirus. We had one transaction terminate due to market volatility, and the rest of them just bad timing with normal objections from inspections.
Yep.
We closed a $865,000 transaction a week ago. So, I mean, we're still moving. We've got 3 offers with buyers out in play right now in our markets. Monique doesn't realize she's getting a counter back on one that the buyer accident, they said, no, we're not going to respond. We're not going to do this, but my sellers are going to respond back anyway, try and keep things in play. But we've still got some buyer activity buying on property for the most part. 2 of them are sight unseen. One of them's a foreclosure. So thankfully in our market, most of our properties are vacant, so we can get in without any health risk or concern.
Yep.
The downside is we've got to be aware of oil prices out of Midland, Odessa.
Yep.
The other side is that I am predicting with coronavirus, a lot of people in the metropolis, the big cities, are going to rethink their crowded living conditions and the chaos and panic, and want to be in the safe haven of Ruidoso. Our grocery stores are mostly stocked.
Yeah, that's great.
I think we see some good stuff. Listing activity is strong right now, really strong listing activity. And
look at your expired. This is your opportunity right there, right? Let's go get those and let's do well. You went from 10 on your last report. So I look at that's the opportunity, right, to get those and make that happen. And thanks so much, Jeff. Anyone else? Comment, question, good of the order, here are the successes. What's that?
It's Richard Beckman last week.
Hey, Richard.
How are you?
Yeah.
I listed the house on at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. By the next day, we had multiple showings. The day after that, we got a couple offers in, sold it for over asking price. So people are still listing homes and they're still selling homes.
Did you tell those people that we got a pandemic going on and what are they doing? Did you try to talk them out of all that?
Not a bit.
So good. Well, you're leading well, and I want you to keep leading well and keep moving your people out of the sidelines and onto the field, right? And really motivating. You're that leader that they need right now, and everybody needs to be active. There's 3 kind of people, right? Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. And the people who wonder and watch are going to be left behind. And we need to get out there. Great news. Let's go one more. Anybody else want to make a comment here before we hang out? Keith, for the good of the order, or Kevin?
This is Keith. We still have some prospecting, obviously, activities going on, and still have some leads coming in through our website. We do, we're a managed services company, so we do IT support in the Twin Cities area here. Yep. And even normally what I see in an environment like this is usually all types of project work will stop. We haven't, while it's slowed down, it hasn't completely stopped like it did in 2008. So, which is nice to see. So I think a lot of people are probably under the feeling of let's just get over the hump and then continue on. I mean, I'm fully expecting to have some level of change out there in the ecosystem, but we're taking it day by day.
Yeah, Keith. So what do you see as the opportunities coming up from your perspective? So Keith is managed IT services for a lot of medical as well, right? I mean, that's probably one of your lanes. What do you see?
Yeah, interestingly enough, on the medical side, they've been hit a little bit because of the
non-elective surgeries
being paused. So, of course, normally that sector of the market is fairly recession-proof, but so they are feeling a little bit of pain. But those that are in the med tech side of it are still very they're still going on strong. Not much change on that front. Of course, we've been slammed with just getting everybody set up to work remotely and from home. So we actually temporarily brought in some extra help in order to handle the workload. So we're hoping for things to go back to normal because we're working quite a few hours in the day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And what do you see as challenges ramping up?
Challenges, I think we are fortunate in that we do not have a lot of customers on the retail or restaurant side.
Right. That's
not true of all providers. I know I've talked to some that have instantaneously lost 25% of their business. So for them, it's been tough. I know that they've made, in some cases, have already made some cuts and are looking at others. So our kind of strategy is to, we want to keep our team together throughout this and come out on the other side of it, hopefully stronger than we entered it.
Well, you will. I know you're a fighter as well, and I just appreciate all of you. I really do. And doggone it, Michelle, I wish that next time we'll do a test run. We'll do a test run on your mic next time. Love to hear from you, and thank all of you for participating and joining. And I want to thank all of you who are watching the podcast here today. If you have any questions, if there's anything we can do to help you get ready for increase, please contact us today. Everybody, let's get our disciplines tight. Let's set that game plan between now and April 30th. Those of you in one-on-one coaching, we'll hash through that. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Smart Sales Solutions podcast. For more information, go to smartsalessolutions.com.